let's have a look at the key benefits and key features of TMclass. The first, what we're going to look at are benefits and features, let's say, related to the tool TMclass itself. But let's first be reminded of what TMclass does for you, because if you're probably already aware of this, but of course, if not, it's a kind reminder for those that are not too familiar with applications of trademarks. But at the moment you apply for a trademark, you need also to describe the goods and services that you would like to protect with your trademark. And this is precisely where TMclass is a very helpful tool, because it's available to you online. So you can search and you can verify and translate, and then of course correctly classify all the goods and services before you file the application. So as you will see now in a moment, TMclass will provide you with the correct classification of each good and service. TMclass already includes many different databases of goods and services from IP offices worldwide. And you will see in a moment how many that we are covering. So if you use TMclass and you search in a specific office, you will have certainty for this specific office which goods and services that it will accept once you apply at this office. So this is a huge benefit for you. And obviously, it's also let's say key for each participating office and its trademark examination, because if they're receiving goods and services that are based on those that they are displaying or showing to users in TMclass, then it will make it easier for them and a faster registration process in the end. Like TMU, we have a tool that is available 24/7, and also it's a tool free of charge. Now, before moving on, I would like to point out benefits to HDB, because HDB, here we're talking about the harmonized database of goods and services. And already now, it is used widely by many EU and non-EU offices. Probably one of the main benefits of this is that it's very complete. The data there, that is the goods and services, it's harmonized. And that's the key word also, of course, part of the name of this database. It's harmonized, it's pre-validated, it's pre-classified. So this is available to you through TMclass, and it's available in this one single tool for you. Also, what is very important for HDB, if you compare it to other databases of classification, HDB is updated every month, so it keeps up with trends and technologies and other developments in different markets in order for you as a user to be able to select the correct good or service for your trademark. And as we have pointed out before with the fast track of filing, if you base your trademark application purely on HDB terms, then you have zero risks that the IP office will object to this selection of goods and services. This is very important. The user is assured also that these goods and services that you are using, for instance, to file an application in SAC-Patente, if these goods and services are from HDB, they will also be accepted by any other office that are participating and accepting HDB. And even if the language is different in the country or the territory where you would like to file the same or the application, the same goods and services will be accepted by that offices, and you can use TMclass to help you to translate the goods and services into that language, even though you don't speak it yourself. Then also available for the HDB offices in TMclass, we have this browse tree called taxonomy, which will help the users more easily to find the correct good or service because they are grouped based on concept and relationship and market sectors. So you will be able to browse through it and filter down to relevant goods or services. And as already mentioned, this is also available 24/7 and is also free of charge. So these benefits are the ones towards the user, being IP attorneys, small enterprises, or individual persons. And of course, these all in all saves you time and money. On the other side, we have the office, benefits for the office. If an office is using HDB, it will improve examination process of a trademark. It will mean less manual work, like examining the trademark for the classification and the validation of the goods and services, and will result in more automated processes. Just as we mentioned before in EUIPO, it is automated through the fast track, so the examiners can skip those applications which are purely based on goods and services from HDB. So that part of the classification and validation of these goods and services can be skipped. And this is precisely what I'm pointing out here in the third point, that this part can be skipped. And then, of course, if you make it easier for people, for users, you have let's say, a better chance to see an increase of trademark applications at your office. And it saves you, of course, also time and money overall by being part of HDB. I think there were questions already popping up. So I don't know if you want to.
One question, please. If understood correctly, we can use TMclass as well in case of international application because the most problematic thing is most irregularities done with respect to international regulations are with goods and services classification. If understood correctly, if we rely on this classification, they will be on the safe side. Is this so?
TMclass will show for each office that is participating the goods and services that they accept. So if you select goods and services displayed for that office in TMclass, you're on the safe side that it will be accepted. Then I moved more specifically into HDB because Sachpatenti in many other offices, not only the EU, which I have shown here in dark red, but also other offices outside the EU, besides Georgia, are participating and accepting HDB. And with those benefits I displayed before, being a much bigger database and updated monthly, you have certainty that all these goods and services will be accepted, regardless of the country that you're filing in. Let's say HDB offices. So the dark red offices here, let me see if I can move my mouse. You have, let's say, Europe or the EU accepting all HDB, but you can also, besides filing, now it's very difficult for me to move, but besides filing in Georgia, we have other offices, Peru, Argentina. We have the whole region of, for instance, a specific office like Uganda. Also, we have the French-speaking African organization, WAPI. So you have many places where you can go to using the translation mechanism in TMclass and translate your goods and services that you have used in a filing at Sachpatenti in Cartuli, translated via TMclass into Spanish, into Norwegian, into English, into the working language of the office where you would like to file, and you will know that the same goods and services will be accepted. So basically, this is what you can see already now here with this map. So we have those in dark orange, and we have the dark red, and here we have this, let's say, harmonized practice in place where you have this certainty. I don't want to dwell too much on the other ones, but of course, you will probably remember that the NIS class or the alphabetical list of NIS or even MGS, you're not obliged to accept all the goods and services in that. It doesn't give certainty to the users that the office will accept it. Of course, if you view it in TMclass first and you see it's there for the specific office where you would like to file, then you have certainty. But in case an office is not participating and showing what they accept, you have uncertainty. And we do have offices around the world that, let's say, in principle, are NIS offices, except the 10,204 terms in NIS 21, but maybe they reject 4, 5, or 6 terms. And this is not the case when you go to HDB. Here, everybody are accepting the same. They're all accepting the same term and the same classification. So that's let's say, the key fundamental principle, I think, of HDB. Let's move on to the demo. So let's remember just before where we were showing TMU that we were clearing our trademark idea. Okay, so we have cleared, we are ready to go ahead. We will file our application for George. We would like to file for goods and services in class 9. So let's check now that in fact these goods or services are accepted. Like we saw also for TMU, we have the chance to change the user interface so we can navigate in our own language. Also, in this case, it's available in Cartuli. I will not dare now to change it, but I will check afterwards to make sure that it's working so we don't break anything. But in any case, what I will do, I would like to change to Cartuli here, because I have prepared a few examples of how we can check if the goods and services will be accepted by Sachpatenti. Our landing page of TMclass includes this search a term. So this is where I know the language of the office that I would like to file. If I don't know the language, I should in principle use translate term or translate list of terms. But let's just imagine now that I know Georgian and I speak it fluently, and I will take a few examples of goods and services that I've prepared to check if Sachpatenti in fact will accept it. For instance, I know that this term is computers. Probably my fellow colleagues at EUIPO, only a few will recognize this, but this is actually computers. And let's see, we check in the office. In this case, we only have Sachpatenti speaking Georgian, so there's nothing else to select or deselect, but only your office. And we select search or click on search. It will then, first of all, open a small window with a disclaimer, which we can close. But here we have a list of results. First of all, we have the list of results with 109 terms. And we have goods and services displayed here, which contain computers as either an exact match or part of a longer description of a good or service. We also have the browse tree that I mentioned before that can help you to navigate easily to a specific class in case that the good you were looking for was not computers as such, but maybe, I don't know, maybe a lock for computers or something like that. Then that could be used. If this is the term that you're looking for, you can see that it is classified in class 9. You can see that it's accepted by Sachpatenti. It has the green check mark. And then we have some other information that shows which database it's part of. In this case, this means it's part of the harmonized database of goods and services. We can also see that it's part of ID list and of MGS. But the most important part is that we can see is accepted by Sachpatenti. We can then start creating our list and add the terms up here to my list of terms. We do so by selecting the checkbox, and that adds the term up here above. Let's take another example. Let me add another to search for. For instance, this one here. For those that don't speak Kartuli, it should say computer software recorded. I hope that's the case. Let me try to search for it. And here we have the list of results, in this case, a direct match. If this is what we search for and would like to add to our application eventually, we can click the checkbox and add it to our list. Now we have two goods in our basket, and you could basically continue like this to add more terms one by one. There's also another way to verify with a longer list, and I will come back to that in a moment. But let's just say now that the goods that we wanted to add to our applications are computers and computer software recorded. Those are our two goods. You can then, if we go back here, there's possibilities. I won't do that now, but you can download them so you have easy access to them and can actually reuse them easily in your filing. However, as we just saw before with the map, what if you want to file, for instance, in Uganda and they speak English? Well, then you can translate the goods and services through the translation functionality that we have here. So we can actually use this feature called translate list of terms. And that will take us to this new window for translating terms. So we are going to translate from Georgian, and then we select into English. In this case, you can either type the terms in again manually, or you can add them and import them from my list. If you click this hyperlink, they are then imported automatically. Let me see if they're imported. They should pop up here with the class on the class 9, but it's still thinking. Yes, here we go. So we have here class 9 highlighted. If we click here, we will be able to see the two goods that we have imported. The second step to do is then to click the translate button. And now we have the two terms translated into English, computers and computer software recorded. If we are satisfied, in order to remember these two terms, we can also add them to our list, the checkboxes. There we go. So now the two terms have been added. Now also to our list in English. So we have the original list in Georgian, and now we have the English translation. And here we have the information, and it's actually, this is an improvement that we need to make in TMclass. There are so many English-speaking offices that they don't fit into our window. We cannot see to the right, but I wanted to demonstrate you that the Office of Uganda is also accepting the terms. But in any way, civil office accepted, but you can also see, for instance, here, IPONS is not, the Office of New Zealand is not, for instance, accepting computer software recorded. So there's no green check mark. But that's how you do it, and how you can translate easily in a longer list into that you have created into another language where you would like to file your application. The last thing, if you allow me, is to show you how you can verify a longer list in the tool. And this is also a feature that is very useful for the examiners at SAC-Patentti or any national office. For instance, let's imagine that we receive a long list of goods and services. In this case, to do the demonstration, I will just do it in English. I think that will be easier. Let's go to the classification tool. It's up here in the menu above, and we have what we call verify list of terms. We then select English. In this case, we could have kept it in Georgian, and now it is important that we select the office that we would like. So for instance, if we would like to file in Uganda, we click here, the acronym for the Ugandan office. In this case, we don't have to select any specific window here for the class. We can just reuse class 1 and type in all the goods and services, but we have to remember that we have to separate with a semicolon, because otherwise TMclass will not be able to distinguish these different concepts. So we are separating here with the semicolon, and then we click verify. We click verify, and then we have a list of results appearing here, and we have some icons to the left, which I explained further down in the legend. The red cross doesn't mean that it's not accepted. It simply means that the term is found in a different class. So you can imagine if you are an examiner and you have received in your application that you're checking, you have copied and pasted these goods and services, you just have to verify that aircraft was actually then indicated with class 12 in the application, aircraft rental in 39, etc., etc. Okay? Of course, when we get to a term that is correctly classified, like organic bleaching chemicals, then it belongs to class 1 and it will have an okay, as we can also see down here in the legend, the explanation. But I think this is very useful for examiners at SAC-Patentti. So instead of copy and pasting now, as I've done in English, you could copy and paste applications in Georgian, remembering the semicolon. It has to be included, otherwise it won't detect the difference from one term to another, precisely because, as we can see here, computer software, comma, recorded includes this comma. So it will have difficulties to recognize a different concept if it's not separated by semicolon. But you could be able then to verify long lists. It's still a manual process, but it is, of course, a lot easier to use TMclass as a tool rather than going in the application itself, class by class, concept or term by term. Here you have a possibility. And if I don't remember wrongly, I think you can copy and paste in up to 2,000 concepts at the same time. So you have plenty of space here, probably even too much with 2,000 concepts that you can copy and paste to verify at the same time. So that takes me to the end of what I wanted to present. I know the last bit was a bit rushed through, but I hope I was clear with the key features here and functionalities in TMclass. Thank you.